This is just after 3 o'clock local time, and these are live pictures of that Palisades fire. It started before noon. It has quickly burned through more than 12 square kilometers of land. It is chewing up land, quickly destroying homes and businesses, and obviously, as you see, still growing strongly and still going strong. And these are just such extraordinary pictures. We have Steve Futterman, who is back in the Palisades area, and I'm just going to pause and look at the scene behind you two, Steve. Just an extraordinary disaster unfolding in those 3 locations around Los Angeles. Just take us through what's going on as you see things.
Well, Heather, it's a very nasty situation here. Wearing the glasses to protect me from the embers flying around, and lots of smoke, lots of wind, lots of fire. And this is not one of the hot spots. This is sort of a mild spot, but we were able to get a signal from this spot. But you can see behind me, this is a bluff overlooking the Pacific Ocean here in Pacific Palisades, and that structure up there is no more. It's just been a remarkable night. Lots of just tragic situations here people are facing. You saw the story of people literally feeling they were running for their lives when the fire hit earlier in the afternoon, when the flames, wind-driven, were really rushing people from their homes. They didn't know if they would make it to the Pacific Coast Highway or to Sunset Boulevard, and they abandoned their vehicles. So lots of just frightening stories of people just hoping to survive, and in most cases surviving. We have had some reports of some injuries. Now, it's all because of the Santa Ana winds, as you mentioned. We've talked about these for years, Heather. I've never seen them quite like this. We said that a month ago in the Malibu fire. I'd never seen it quite like this. Well, this is making the Malibu fire look like a somewhat mild fire compared to what we're having here. There's no idea how many homes have been destroyed. I want to show you some video now that I shot a few hours ago. This is along Pacific Coast Highway in the Pacific Palisades in Malibu. These are some of the most desired locations in the world, overlooking the Pacific Ocean. And look at these homes, one after another destroyed, nothing left. It's just a horrible scene, and when daylight comes, we'll get the full extent of it. But we fear that there are maybe, I don't want to give a guess, but I would not be surprised if we have 100 homes damaged or destroyed in these various fires. And I might be conservative right now in saying that this has just been the worst case scenario in many cases for the people here, and they'll have to deal with it. There's nothing you can do when these winds are this strong. As you mentioned, gusts up to around 160 kilometers an hour. We've had sustained winds, though, of just over 100 kilometers an hour. So it's just a very difficult battle. They could not use the helicopters overnight. They will try to use them when daylight hits, but it's just a very, very difficult scene here, Heather, right now.
I mean, some of the images that we're showing, Steve, you have actually filmed yourself. So we have seen you get so close to this, and please be so careful. The glasses won't be enough.
I will.
There have been situations, CNN's camera, another NBC crew in the middle of live reporting, having to stop, crews, news teams, crews being surrounded by flames. So it is an extraordinarily dangerous thing to report on as well. Steve, we got this a tweet from the governor just a little bit earlier on talking about the firefighting effort. 1,400 plus firefighting personnel, hundreds of other assets already in position to combat what he's calling unprecedented fires. So officials, firefighters, first responders, all hands on deck through the night to do everything possible to protect lives. And he has talked about exactly what you mentioned, a huge fire in November, another in December, and here we are starting the year with another even worse situation. But the kinds of response that you're seeing, again, is that, and I'm still talking to you, the kinds of response, I mean, you talked about an unprecedented scene that you're seeing, but that sounds like a massive response to it from the state.
Well, they're basically, Heather, going to put every resource they have towards this fire. They have deals, they call them cooperative deals with other states, with other areas, and they are bringing in everything they can right now. Now, there is some reports this morning that there are additional fires in the Santa Barbara area. So when you have more fires, you have to devote some of the resources to these other fires. So that's going to cause some problems as well. But for the moment, they're putting everything they can. This is the top priority. nationwide right now as far as firefighting goes, and they'll get help from other states, from far away states as well. This is the cooperative deals that they've had for many, many years. I will say this, Heather. We saw the scenes. I was not in Lahaina a couple of years ago when they had the fire there, but the scenes I saw on the coastline last night, I think when daylight hits, it's going to be similar to that. It's going to be just total destruction. And these are some of the most beautiful homes in the world. I've driven on this highway, Heather, for decades. I mean, I'm that old, and I've seen these homes. And I just was aghast last night when I drove by and realized that these homes I've driven by for years and admired, and just looked at and said, I'd love to be in a house like that. These homes no longer exist.
Certainly it's not just celebrities, but as you say, beautiful, very expensive real estate. Steve Gutenberg, one of the celebrities affected. Eugene Levy, one of those who's evacuated, and we'll be hearing more about those stories as well. But there are countless of thousands of people who are being affected by these. Steve, keep following things. Send us some new pictures, if you will. We have live pictures, and we'll speak to you again in a couple of hours, okay, on this breaking situation.
Sounds good, Heather.
Thank you so much, Steve. Steve Futterman, right close to the fire in the Palisades area, as we bid with breaking news this morning.